G'day, Andrew from Cellcology here. Hope you're doing well. Um, the video I thought I'd do today has come about from probably a question I get asked a lot, which is what are the top kind of sales effectiveness challenges that you see, or what are the things that you see most consistency or consistently with organizations you work with. And look, across nearly every industry I've worked with, whether that's construction and trades, professional services, wholesale, manufacturing, you know technology, you kind of see the same challenges come up when it comes to sales effectiveness. And it doesn't really matter if the business has two salespeople or 20. The themes kind of don't change much. So look, I thought I'd talk you through and walk you through what I believe the top sales effectiveness challenges are that really hold businesses back, and hopefully give you a few things to reflect on in your own team. Um, so the first one is sales activity is inconsistent. So there's no clear cadence around prospecting, follow up, re-engaging past opportunities. Sales effort tends to come in waves. So usually when things are quiet, and when the pipeline's full, activity drops off again. So it creates this constant roller coaster, which is either chasing work or too busy to think about it. The second, a lot of teams rely too heavily on individual experience rather than structured process. So way to think about it is, you've got reps who know what they're doing, but it's all in their head. So there's no consistent way of qualifying leads, presenting value, or progressing deals as a team. So typically what you see is when you might hire somebody new, it's hard to ramp them up quickly, or kind of expect the same outcomes and get that consistency in place beyond someone's experience, and who know what they're doing. Next, the sales leader, the business owner or managers spread way too thin. So they're jumping between people, putting out fires, running meetings, checking the CRM, but they're not really spending as much time, or enough time rather, coaching, planning, or actually helping the team grow. Not through a lack of want, purely just being caught up in busy work. So the sales team ends up in reactive mode, and leadership becomes more around chasing numbers, than lifting capability. The next one is reporting. So no meaningful reporting. So a lot of businesses have data, but not clear insight. So no real visibility into what the pipeline actually means, which activities are working, or where things are falling over. And when reporting does exist, it often becomes a compliance exercise, not necessarily something that helps improve performance, and capability. And look, finally, probably the biggest is there hasn't really been an organization just hasn't clearly defined how they sell. So not just what they sell, or who they sell to, but how they sell. So there's no clear sales process, or if there is, it's not being followed consistently. So it means, each team member is doing their own version of selling, and it becomes impossible to kind of coach, scale, or improve, because everyone's kind of running to a different playbook or rhythm. So, look, these challenges are common, but they're also solvable. And look, the key in a lot of the cases is actually stepping back and tightening up the structure, and really making sure that your sales efforts are consistent, supported, and set up to scale, and not just survive. So, look, if you're curious where your team sits, I've actually built a simple health check, that I take businesses through to help them pinpoint where those gaps might be, and kind of give them, some good scope or area to focus on, or some things that they could spend some time doing to improve, those areas. So look, I'll put a link to that health check, in the comments below. But look, thanks for watching. And if anything here struck a chord, feel free, as always, to reach out. Happy to have a chat.